Hello and welcome to Buzz Banter. I'm Doss Hart.
I'm Maya.
And the two of us today have a fun little movie review for you. The Dictator! So, the latest offering from Sacha Baron Cohen, from such films as Borat and Bruno, as well as the Ali G show. This one basically is parodying all of like the recent dictators and like the big news stories. It was Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, and
it's dedicated to Kim Jong-il. Yeah.
They actually delayed the release of this film after Kim Jong-il's death because they needed to reshoot one scene and add in the little in loving memory of Kim Jong-il.
Glorious memory.
Yeah. This was a sort of long time coming. It was a kind of labor of love for Sacha Baron Cohen. There was a lot of hype generated about this film, but after seeing the film, what did you think?
I loved it. I think he's finally found a good balance between his juxtaposing the extreme scenes with like the mundane, since like his sense of humor does get you thinking about it, right? Like the dictator of Wadia, when he gets his like beard chopped off, suddenly he's not recognizable. It was beautiful.
No, but at the same time as that, you mentioned that he's kind of struck that balance where what you had in Borat. And in Bruno...
Bruno's still a bit too much.
Bruno's a little bit too much, but what you had in Borat was basically him playing this off and regular people sort of reacting to him. How much of that was scripted and how much of that was just actual people reacting to him. It blurred the line there, and you had a lot of actual people's reactions and how that worked.
How angry they were, yeah.
Exactly, and what they were willing to accept. That was the central thing there. Now this as a criticism of those, of what's been happening, it functions in certain respects. I like this movie I think a little less than you did. Mostly because it doesn't, at least in my opinion, it doesn't keep a consistent sort of thing. You have that sort of satirical sort of look at how the world is and how and if you look into certain scenes, you see it as a very poignant statement about the way that the world is set up. Mm-hmm. This dictatorship of Wadia is being turned into a democracy against his wishes, his wishes by his second in command, and you see exactly who's behind that. And it's big oil companies. It's essentially just corporate interests. They have no care for the people of Wadia or what happens to that nation. They just want the resources.
I thought it was quite beautiful with the scene where he starts saying, you know what, you guys would be so much happier with a dictatorship. And all the things he listed...
There's 11 points. I counted it in the theater. Yeah. There's 11 points that he lists that they actually do that a dictatorship does.
In a democracy, yeah.
If America was a democracy, you could have 99. If it was a dictatorship, you could have all of the wealth controlled by 1% of the population. You could say you had free elections, but the whole thing's rigged. that sort of thing.
And I think one of the best points was he was like, you guys can have like all these media organizations, but controlled by a very small group of people.
Exactly. One guy in his family.
Yeah, one guy in his family. He's like, that's just what a dictatorship is. And then like the whole press conference room that he's in, everybody goes silent. And then the theater audience I was with, right? At first they're all laughing, but they all went silent because they realized, oh God.
And it doesn't end.
This is true.
It doesn't end, and like you have a couple of points that he makes that alright, maybe conspiracy theorists, but a lot of the stuff that he says is true, and it's kind of frightening. But the thing is, that's just one section of the film, and a lot of the film strays away from that.
You know what else is terrifying? Like me walking out of the theater, I went with like a group of friends from Hong Kong, and they did some research. They said even now a lot of like 7-Eleven and a couple other chain stores in Hong Kong, they're actually all still owned by the East India Company. And it's terrifying. Colonialism never ended either.
No. the acting all around is okay. For some reason, they got the girl from the Scary Movie films, and she's playing the same character she plays in all of those. And honestly, she's really irritating, more than anything.
I liked when she did this. It's hilarious.
And it parodies a lot of it. It's very, very insulting, and it is that way throughout the entire film. And after a certain amount of time, that sort of shock value at the racism, sexism, elitism, all that, it wears thin, and you really get annoyed with it. What I really liked, though, was his little helper. When he's in the United States, and the sort of rapport that they get.
The scientist, yeah. It's beautiful.
That's really well done. The film's definitely worth checking out. It was a fun film. It's definitely worth checking out. Maybe not in theaters.
I liked it in theaters. I laughed a lot for this film. I think I was less shocked compared to Bruno or Borat or Ali G, the Ali G show. But I think it got a lot of us thinking, and I think that was Sacha Baron Cohen's goal, to get the audience to laugh at these things because of how ridiculous they are, but most of all to get you thinking about the society we live in.
It's debatable whether it's a strength or failing of the movie, because all of that sort of thoughtfulness happens right at the end. So essentially, you've been enjoying this trip, and then you show the sort of satirical thing.
Like
right at the end of it, so that's what you walk out with after enjoying the
I've had friends that they do shop from these so-called health food stores, right?
Right.
But the fact that you don't actually know where these healthy foods come from. They tell you that they come from good places, right? But and when you look at how what's his name, the dictator himself, how he gets all these products, right? He does it through blackmail. He kidnaps the kid from the kid that whose father is the health food inspector.
The health food inspector.
Honestly, his tactics are still as brutal as any other store. And when he was a dictator, it makes you wonder, can we trust the labels on our food too? It got me thinking throughout the movie. I was laughing, of course, but.
It's a little more silly fun than you would expect from these sort of satirical sort of commentaries on the subject.
Yes.
But it's worth checking out. I would rent it personally, given the choice. And you were saying that you would watch it in theaters.
I'd watch it in theaters. It's hilarious. I also like the comedic touches that also a bit of the psychology that a dictator might have. At the beginning, he can have any woman in the world because of how much money he has.
And apparently Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, apparently Schwarzenegger. But then he has a whole wall of these things, but he's lonely and miserable because no one understands him until his beard gets shaved off and,
but that's it for our review. Subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm Das Hat.
I'm Maya. Go see it in theaters. It's still there right now. That's just me, though.
I would rent it.
I said watch it.
Bye-bye.
And we're here covering Anime North and looking for wherever the hell Goma scampered off to. So, join us in the coming week to get lots of fun cosplays, fun little discussions about the panels, and all your favorite anime stuff.